Morning, my name is Jeremy Hopkins. I've been here for, I think I started my rainfall stuff over January this year. So, been working up to this point. They sent me to the class with Mark Aspery, a couple other people that are here in there, Robbie, Brandon, how you are in there on this. Rob was in there with us too. So, learned quite a bit from that class. There was a little bit of tool making, there was the level 1 latch, and he went into some of the level 2 stuff, which was some scrolls. And that's what I'll be kind of working on today, is I'll be showing you the ribbon scroll. So, let's see, get started with that one. Has anybody, besides those 3 that I know were in the class with me, has anybody else done scrolls? I figured.
Okay.
We'll start with just using 18-inch long piece of 3/4 rod, 1/4 thick steel bar stock, and just a general idea of what we'll do is I will taper about the first 4 inches, keep it the same width as the bar that's already there, and then we'll use some glass and blows on the edge of the handle to start curling that, and then we'll continue to work that scroll from there. Give you an overall idea of what I'm going to be doing. I did make one last night when I was here, so every Friday we're here, or I try to be here most Fridays, but this is open most every Friday, right? Yeah. So, last night I did come and I did 2 scrolls and I pulled it up and it ended up making like a heart, so it'll be decorative, not as functional as
Sure, I can cut out my eyes and see.
good question. Good thought. But I will have one at the end of this for you to put all your tickets in. So you have your pocket for my ticket. I didn't bring one.
I can use mine.
Something I did, something I've kind of learned was I marked one side of the steel, the top side, so sometimes I may not be able to see what I've already been working on if it's already hot. I can't see all my hammer marks, I don't know which side I've been working on. So I'll actually mark it with a piece of soapstone on the seeing that I'm not working. And that kind of lets me keep track of what side I'm on very quickly, rather than there. Right now I'm just trying to keep it the same width. So flatten it out to about 4 inches. And that's going to, the 4 inches, keep the same width. I'm going to draw it down about the 1/16 of an inch from the 1/4 stock that's already there over that entire.
Sir, are you starting with 4 inches and drawing it out, or you're going to draw a taper out to about 4 inches?
I'll draw my finished result. The 4 inches will be the whole thing. So, I don't know what actually the amount of stock you need. I have to go and calculate that.
Yeah,
but it's a good question. I started with an 18-inch long piece.
Yeah.
It's a good question. The end result will be a 4-inch taper along the same width to draw it down from the 1/4 to the 16th.
What kind of taper do they go with here?
Taper, this is a
What kind of taper?
your question. What the end result was to be a ribbon.
Okay.
So maybe you can help me with the taper.
What project did you not do that you were going to do?
Oh, the chisel?
So that is a what taper?
Chisel. Okay, chisel taper. Very good point. So, I had planned on doing a chisel for y'all because I really like the idea of tool making. That was one of the coolest things in my opinion to get. Because you make a chisel, drift, a slot punch. And my plan was to do that. But it didn't quite work out. Because I was actually trying to set my own forge up at home. And that was a whole fun.
Did you really need that fog?
I do, but that's why I know you're here, because you brought a pocket with you. So,
Mine's full.
do you even have some on your pants there? I know you don't.
You sure not cartridge?
You brought one pocket, what's wrong with you?
I don't have that many excuses.
That's fine. Just keep it the same width. So, a lot of times I actually like to try and time my heat. 30 seconds. And this morning, that's what I want to do right now. I don't know if a lot of y'all time them or not. Keep everything flat taper. Come around and show you all this. It's not necessarily the full finished taper, but it's starting to taper down.
Wow.
I know,
That
thank
looks
you.
like a sword.
Does it?
Yeah, kind of.
Slight taper from here down.
Yeah.
1/16 of an inch here is what I'm
Yeah.
going for.
Mm-hmm.
Total about 4 inches long.
Thank you.
Right now I have the taper that I want, the distance, and the width, the very tip. So some of the next beats for me will be getting everything a little straighter and getting some of my hammer marks out of there, kind of planishing.
So how much did the material stretch?
Started off with 18, about to 19 and a quarter, so gained an inch and a quarter. So I guess instead of calculating, there we go. 4 inch taper will give you another 2.5 total over that particular bar stop crossing. If you were to do with, I don't know, 5
threw out 2 and 3/4.
I'm keeping it 3/4.
I know, but the material that you use is more than 2 and 3/4.
I'll start off with 18, right? Yeah, maybe 19 and a quarter. Well, yeah, that's right. I was like, like, did I do my math wrong? Thank you very much. Where did I do my math wrong? I didn't need to hear that.
Who's expected?
Shots fired.
You're welcome. Set you up and set me up. Set myself up. Keep it clean. And it's actually thin enough, it's kind of bending under its own weight. One thing I've actually learned about having just the right amount of light is a lot of times I work over this area, this board over here, and versus here, the amount of light and everything, I can actually see my overlapping camera flows a lot better. And that's one thing that's been hard for me to control in this area. So, continuing to learn as I even do this, I didn't check it out. But the overlapping camera flows are something that I've been working on to control a little better. Overlap your hammer blows. If I blow it up here, do another one here, just halfway each way. That way, you don't have individual hammer marks. You have peaks and valleys. That'll help you kind of smooth everything out. Working on the width right now. Width is mostly right, but I want the width of the tip a little narrower. So I think at this point, this is where I'm going to start my scroll. So I'm going to start, I'll show y'all the width difference here, down to 1/16 of an inch, very tip, or close to it. So 4-inch long taper, 1/16 of an inch at this width, and trying to keep the width about the same going down.
How thick wood did it start?
It starts as a 1/4 inch in this case, 1/4 inch piece of stock, 18 inches long, and from when we measured, it actually goes to, you gain about 1.25 inches in this case from tapering that end down.
Do you have any tips for the newer blacksmith on how to keep your overlap, having hammer blows or short material?
One thing I would recommend, and I still try to get myself in the property here, but move the stock and keep our hammer in the exact same location. That kind of helps in certain cases. I still catch myself moving my hammer as I go, but I found greater success in keeping my stock in the same location and moving it versus my hammer. So,
That'll help you later on, like when you start using power and presses too, because they don't move, the material moves.
I never thought about that. I have not used the power tools, so I'm hoping someone let me borrow one. You got one to borrow?
We're not all fancy and bougie, bro.
Right now, my probably wouldn't allow me more another excuse for you.
I'm just telling you, if we get the habit of it now, because later on in life, when you can use one, that hammer
trying to put your hammer on the end.
The hammer part still just hits the same spot, it just moves the shot.
So move. That's a joke, I'm joking, I'm sorry. Don't do that. This is right, he has more experience than that. So it's thin enough, actually, just brushing it was kind of. Alright, so what we'll do is we'll come to the edge of the anvil and use glancing hammer blows to start my curl. Of the scroll. Y'all can kind of get it started right there. So that's how we'll start it. See? Kind of like a little hook. So just a little bit. Just a ton.
There got you a back scratcher.
Uh-huh. Very warm back scratcher. You start the curl just a little bit, and that was with glancing hammer blows, so not directly on, just kind of brushing over the edge on.
Back crusher, it'd be better if we split it first. Yeah, cut it a little bit so there's two.
Another thing to watch out for is as you start tapering everything down and your material gets a lot thinner. It's much easier to burn. Much easier to burn. I've not done that yet on this particular tree.
Knock on wood, it's gonna happen.
Today it hasn't, but knock on wood. Last night I did get a little warm. There was a sparkler too. But it gets hotter much faster in the thinner cross section. Yep. These pinch and pennies. It's like you use that switch. Make a needle switch. Alright. Stretch it up a little bit. And straighten it out. We'll just kind of continue it. But the way we'll continue it is kind of hold it here in my hip and roll on that corner over. So yeah, just roll it over just a little bit there. So just kind of keep that going. Then we can straighten it out as we go. The other thing I've been kind of learning is the scrolling songs actually help us as well.
Almost like they were made for it.
I know. So, got the little hook going on there.
How much more you think you're gonna scroll that ribbon?
My end diameter I want is probably about 2 to 3 inches in diameter.
Okay.
So I'm probably going to draw it back, or not draw it back, but scroll it probably. You're going to scroll about that big in the very end of things.
Okay.
So now in this case, we're also going to do this on both ends.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not near finished. It's still a little tricky to scroll itself. So we recently went to a town that had actually a lot of ironwork in it. I got a lot of pictures of all that ironwork. It was Florence, Italy, not Alabama. But they had a lot of ironwork in Florence. And all the doors, pretty much all the doors in Florence had some type of ironwork on it. A lot of scrolls of different shapes, forms.
How far back did you start your scroll? How far back in the piece? I know you said it's an 18-inch piece.
2 3/4 inches
Two and-
is the start of the scroll. Just
Okay.
roll it out to 4 inches.
Yeah, the whole taper will be 4 inches. total.
Yes.
And then that I'll continue to scroll back. Because I'll actually scroll more than just the taper itself. You're going to get ready to head back into the bar stock itself.
Okay.
We're not only scrolling just the taper.
Mm-hmm.
Some scrolls you see, the ones that are in the class are actually pretty tight. This one's about, right now, the half the size of what we're doing. And as I'm going to scroll that over, it's going to end up being about 4 inches total. And that's just kind of judging off of the last, what I did last time.
Okay.
Let me keep kind of scrolling a little bit with this here. Kind of cooling off the end. I want to grab with my hand. Why? Because I don't want to work with tongs at the moment, so it's just easier to work without the tongs holding this in. I can just hold it with my hand. That makes sense. I'm not as attuned to it as you are. Not yet.
You need to burn your hand a few more times.
Yeah, just a couple more
Just
times.
practice with baked potatoes at home. Just hold it.
Hold it. So I would recommend I make it or microwave.
Microwave it for 7 minutes. No, that's too extreme. You need to graduate. He's already big.
Yeah, they always told me about a red horseshoe. Anytime I grab a red horseshoe, I look around on
Or bowls of soup straight out.
bowls of soup.
Those didn't pick very well.
I said, just kind of getting the scroll exactly the way I want it. Getting the scroll and tones. Do it as best I can.
Is there a certain thing you're looking for as you're scrolling?
I would say the one thing I remembered from the class was we got about 1.5 scrolls is what he wanted. So to kind of give you a demonstration of that, you'll see I have a tip here in the center, come around at least once, and then a half. Does that make sense to everybody? One whole scroll, and then the half. Everybody but Rodney. So one is a whole, and then the other half is the half of the whole.
And half
Yes.
Phase 2.
Yes, I'm pretty much there on this one. I'm just kind of straightening it up a little, couple edges and stuff. Then I'm actually going to scroll the other end, kind of do the same thing on this other side. So see the scroll here? Get the scroll. There's one hole, and then there's the half. One hole and the half. So we have one whole scroll, and the half of it. That's kind of how I'm doing this particular.
So you being an engineer, have you calculated all that with the golden rule?
I have a book full of that. Not really. Okay. I have not gone and calculated any of that stuff yet. I have seen the golden rule. I've never actually had to use that a lot of stuff we do.
The golden rule is a big part of blacksmithing using literature.
The proportions.
Yeah, if you want those, just use them to use this.
There's that one too.
Yeah, that is very important.
The golden ratio shows.
Ratio. I was thinking, I think there is another. So I'm going to cool it off so I can actually work my hand on these scroll ends at this point. Now I'm going to start working on this side.
Skin with the sensitive hands.
Slowly but surely, you know, and then I'll get to the point where I can hold a lot of stuff. just like you were.
Yeah, you gotta watch he doesn't start handing.
We're
going to have to be all the
He just wants to have hands like. Next travel in the world, your hands like something up here.
You know?
So did you see any cool blacksmith stuff while you were in Italy?
And we saw, that's what I said a little earlier. Florence is where I saw most of it. We went to Rome, Florence. And Florence is where I saw a lot of, it was actually like hardware on all the buildings. Like implanted inside the building about the site. And we started talking to some of the guys that been around there for a while, and they were telling us that those roads were there forever ago. They've been there for a long time. Those are actually just kind of like the horses up to the building when you're there. They were literally there about every 50 foot. You see like these big old rings on the side of the house. Same thing, we were going along the Arno and the Tiber when we were in Rome. And they also had these big old rings, so that was probably Rome. You can see door knockers and some like the huge doors they have in all the houses. All that good stuff.
Rome's got less than it should, but because the water areas there, south is all iron.
I didn't see a lot of iron in Rome. Yeah, that's exactly what I want. Yeah.
Oh, it's in them very little, because they really scrap.
When we went to the Coliseum, a lot of the ironwork I saw was actually stabilized what was left of the Coliseum. A lot of it was reproduction. They were like, they had to stabilize what was left there, but mostly like vertical pillars. And they go through and they restore some of the areas like where people actually sit. And that ended up being get back to same thing we were doing earlier. Draw the paper back. Working both sides of it. Launching overlapping hammer blows. Moving my stock.
So that's actually a big thing in Europe because of all the ironwork, restoring and repairing some of the work that's already been done. That's a big job that a lot of blacksmiths are going into. Not so much the making the new stuff, but trying to keep the stuff that they have in good condition.
While we were there, we found a very small, like you'd say a maker space, and they happen to have one blacksmith there. They weren't doing anything at the moment. We actually went to go see it. We asked them to come particularly just to show us the place. It was a very small place, but there were a couple of blacksmiths I contacted between Rome and Florence, and they just weren't in their shops at the time up there.
They said they closed down the shops during the summer months because it's just too hot.
It was really hot when we were there. get thinner, as we draw that thicker, is the metal heats up quicker on the thinnest portion of it. So keep in mind not to burn.
Also, do it the other side, so it's got the other side of
Another
the bowl. It don't keep
yes, that's actually a very good point. Thank you. I'm still working that tip of it, but that's another good point is to use the, I believe I would say use the.
You know, it's like that, when you pull it out, the heat in, it will heat that up.
Use the fire point as a piece.
Yeah.
You just.
Trying to keep the same width as we started with.
So how do you know when you get to your 4 inches? Are you guesstimating? You got a mark on your anvil?
I don't have a mark on this particular animal, but I do have my tape measure on my side I'll use. When I was using that one yesterday, it just had to be the width of that was 4 inches. So that was a way you could measure very quickly without having to look every single time. In this case, a little over 4 inches. Right at 4 inches, real close. So I'm not going to draw that anymore, but now I'm continuing to keep my width, draw my width back down. And I'm say draw it, but keep it the same width as the bar stop. And I'm going to continue to taper it a little bit because it's not exactly the width I want yet. I'll show you all that right now. It's kind of like I was starting on the first one. The width is continuing to go down. Same steps as we had before, but continue to draw it down to about from 4 to 10. Have a little bit of char on there. Do you like your burgers char? Do you like your burgers to drop on the char? Oh, this is more than well.
I like crust on them, that heat. It's seasoned.
Do you like yours where a good vegetarian can bring back?
I don't like it blue. I like it medium rare. Maybe it touched towards medium.
I myself will go medium. Yeah.
On my home anvil, I have marks down the side of it. When I take them, so I have a little bit.
Like on the sides or like right on the edge?
Right on the edge. I actually got it from the front, right on the edge. Just like throw it up there and see how much longer I gotta go.
Mm. Another thing you'll notice, let's see this quickly, you can see how since it's thinner, it loses heat much quicker. So you can all see how it's still glowing up here. I have more material. It's losing its heat extremely fast. That's something else to keep in mind. So instead of 30-second heats, maybe I'm going to 50 feet water, depending upon where I have it in the fire and the heat.
There's a lot of talking, just doing the words, and doing fireworks.
Thought about count words? 20 seconds this time. As I actually strike the beat, I can watch the heat go away. About a 20-second heat in this case. Give y'all an idea of the time and the temperature you're seeing. Now I'm just getting it straight before I start my scroll, because I have the final dimensions I want. So, about 16" at the tip. So, about a 16" at the tip there. 16th
Yep.
inch here.
Mm-hmm.
About 4 inches in length, and trying to keep it about the same width.
Mm-hmm.
Now the next heat, I'll start my scroll again, just like I did. Right over the edge of the anvil, take the hammer, and glance it. Not full on glance.
Why particularly glancing blows?
If we do the glancing blow, if I don't do a glancing blow, it may sharp 90-degree bend rather than a curve, a fluid curve. Maybe a half inch over the edge, just glancing blows. And that gets me to start on my curve. You can come back, bend it down just a little bit. Try to keep it relatively even. So that's the start of the curve. So just like we did the previous time. Start of the curve.
We can do it on the opposite side of the previous scroll.
Good point, actually. We can fix that. I'm glad you caught that. It was a test for you.
You just did that to show us how to fix it.
If you want, I can edit this out.
Nope. Leave it in there, 'cause I'm gonna show you how to fix it. Probably a couple different ways I can fix it. You start with scrolling tongues and just turn right back the other way. Flatten it right back out. Right back to where we started. So heat again, and I'll start on the proper side this time. Thank you very much.
Well, it depends on what type you're gonna go. Like if you're trying to do like a fancy S, like
I could have done fancy S. I looked at it and I was like, am I going to change this right now? Like, nope, nope, you caught me. You caught me. We're good. Thank you for catching me. But I was going to keep going. So. But I one thing I have learned thus far is a lot of the things can be undone, which you may not do exactly the way you want. So, there have been a few cases where I haven't been able to undo anything. Okay, so, looking over this stuff, glancing blows. One come back. Keep the scroll going. Small adjustments right now. Another thing is positioning the scroll in the fire at this point. I position my scroll up. It keeps it out of fire because that's not necessarily what I want to be moving now. Now I want to be moving more of the rest of the scroll. So there's a little less heat on the scroll itself and more in the remainder of my motion.
Why you keep making an angle on it? Doesn't it?
Sometimes the flake that's on there that gets left, if I continue to build up a lot more and more and more, it will end up leaving marks in the part that I gave this degree. I don't necessarily account for as hammer blows. You can get them out, but it's just less work you have to do further down the line. Continue that scroll. Keep doing small adjustments. Where's about the way I want it. Another thing to think about is the relation of one scroll to another across. And one way to adjust that maybe. Just kind of
Relationship, are they cousins or brothers?
second cousin. Second cousin in particular. So these are my two scrolls.
Okay, cool that down. You got a handlebar mustache.
Work there. They work out of my
Yeah, there we go.
Top hat the cake.
Uh-huh.
I'll bring those next time. These scrolls.
That's 3 scrolls. Scroll and a
Yeah,
half.
scroll and a half. That's a total of 3. That's a test for you. Now we'll get to the color grade. So, what I'll do at this point is I will measure my center to center distance of the two scrolls. So, about 8.5. So the reason that is for this particular project, and maybe we're going to find the center of it and bend it right in the center to bring my two scrolls together. So there's no reason in making that measurement at the very beginning of this project, because your center distance with the scrolls may be a little funny at the very end. It may not be exactly on the center. So if you did it right, if you are perfect, but in the ideal world, we're gonna do 8.5, 1 1/4. just to show y'all, mark it right in the center. You're very close to the center. You can see the spots
yep.
around here. And what that will do is I will take the center punch and mark this outside. And later, I'm going to go back after I put the center punch and heat the very center. Then we'll bend that over on to create the very bottom piece of the heart. Getting close. This is just a. You don't need much. It's just a indexing mark of the slope, just to let you know where it is. See just a little center punch right there.
And you're just making sure that's on the inside.
I want it on the inside for me.
Yeah.
That way, when the heart's all up together, you may not see it as much
Yeah.
as if it were on the outside. I made that relatively easy, doesn't need to be near that deep, but just a mark. I think it was an idea of where just kind of keep everything in line. Now we'll keep it. At this point, I'm more concerned with hitting the center of the bar, however that mark is, not necessarily the strokes. If I'm done with the strokes,
Where you bend it over, like an angle?
I'm going to go over the edge of the anvil. I thought about doing the device, because we can do it either one, each device with fair tone. But I'll do it at the edge of the anvil.
I wasn't suggesting on that.
No, that's okay. Yeah, I was just thinking of all the different ways we could do it. And the device is one, the anvil's one. Because last night I did it on the anvil. I'm going to do it on the anvil again. But we also could use the device to do it as well. Got a little warm right in the center. Another thing about it is we can see where my bar stock is. We can cool it right to the mark. That way we can control our bend. We're getting close. Keep going.
And square form,
So that's what we almost finished product. So trying to do everything just actually at this point, tried it over the edge of the anvil back here, and then right over the horn. I actually had no success over the horn to have control over it. But also compared to last night, I didn't cool up to my mark, and I did that this time. And it's a lot more control I can have over it. Because last night when I bent it, it actually gave me like this little swoop going on because the entire piece was hot versus just a section I won't bend. So that's something else to like really think about when you put all this together, is controlling where you have your heat. And we can do that with water and other means. So, let's see, we will brush it off a little bit and then start applying beeswax. So another reason I'm trying to clean throughout the process is at this point I can't actually get my brush on the inside of this. So some of these wax is going to cover some of the stuff that's in there. Let me see what some of the pieces are called. Some beeswax. It is possible to have the metal too hot for beeswax.
Oh yeah.
How do you know?
I have a story about that.
You burned your eyebrows off like Steve.
Almost.
I was at the Land Between the Lakes the demonstration, and I got hooked. Chris was there with me and started to do beeswax. I was pretty much, it was still kind of glowing orange. I was like, that'll be fine. As soon as the beeswax on there. Fire.
It smelled really nice around the campfire.
It worked. It worked. But it can be too hot for beeswax. So notice I didn't put it back in the fire.
You're gonna have to let it run in there.
Yeah.
You're just gonna have to let it run into those.
Yeah, the scrolls actually are a little too cool in this case because I heat it only in the center. So we'll put it back just right over the warm coals for just a couple seconds. And that will help me get a little bit more heat in the scrolls.
It's hard to get your piece on fire sometimes. I call mine fire for Christmas party and often
I figure we're around enough fire, it's not unexpected.
Well, if you don't catch something on fire, are you actually doing anything?
That's a good point. But that's just a fun lesson I've learned about beeswax. You can get it too hot.
If you're not catching something on fire, you're probably using a production
I feel like that's a challenge now.
Oh, you can still fix it.
I've not used an induction board, so I like this one.
Hmm.
Behind you,
Dirty?
right in the toolbox.
So another thing I've figured out with beeswax is it's really easy to go back and just brush some of it off if you have too much. Make it look a little better. I've made things, I've coated them with beeswax, and I picked them up the next day and they're like kind of gooey, kind of tacky. So doing it this way, we can wipe out some of the beeswax we got on here. It's still very hot. It's nothing I want to grab hold of. Notice I'm using the phone. But it's not so hot that it's uncomfortable to get close to with my fingers in the rag.
It's just like seasoning a cast iron, you just want just a light coat.
Yes.
Especially if you set it out at a craft show, the sun's big coming.
So that's our finished project. Scrolls.
Let the Harlow spreads and the SLO came out.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I'm glad you caught that. One last thing I will show is just to show the center punch and where it is. Get something. You see the center punch mark right there? Maybe a little harder to see. That was just where I was. Center punch mark right there.
Mm-hmm.
That just gives me the idea where the bend of that part where I wanted it to be. Center punch.
Chooses its way into the scrap.
Center punch mark right there.
That's close enough.
Kind of hard to see. Close enough for an engineer. I'll let the engineer grasp and figure it out later. All right. Thanks for your time. Any questions? Any thoughts? No questions?
No?
Got
Did-
to be some.
Yeah, you did a good job.
My thing.
The